So now to begin the opening remarks, I'd like to introduce Nancy Schiller, who's the president and the CEO of the America for Bulgaria Foundation.
Thank you, David. Good morning. Dobro utro. I would like to welcome you to the WPI conference in Sofia, Bulgaria. Some of our guest speakers are first-time visitors. Others are return guests to Bulgaria. In either case, to all dobre doshli, we are very glad you are here. We have waited nearly 18 months for this gathering to take place. David McDonald of the World Press Institute and Irina Nedeva and Boriana Zhambojeva and our many friends at the Association of European Journalists have planned, rescheduled, planned again, and rescheduled. This is persistence. This is commitment. This is optimism. Despite the delay, we are now gathered virtually and in person, of course, as David said, with the appropriate COVID measures in place, to learn from each other and share experiences. Whether as a speaker or as a participant, attending this conference speaks to your commitment and your passion for independent media and investigative journalism, and to your desire to further develop in your profession. What you do every day is essential for a democracy to thrive. It is not always easy, and it doesn't always make you popular. And yet, you persist, and society is the better for it. I agree. We at the America for Bulgaria Foundation are proud to support you and stand in awe of your dedication to your craft. I wish you a successful conference, and thank you for being here. Have a good conference. Thank you.
I thought we're going to change the agenda just a little bit. Is Irina Nedeva here? Oh, sorry, I missed you. I'm going to introduce Irina and have her say a few words, and then I'll come back.
Thank you very much, Dobre došli. Welcome to everybody. It is a privilege and honor for AJ Bulgaria to partner in this organization of the international conference of such rank as this one. The topic, the new horizons in journalism, and the fact that it is in plural, not in singular, plural horizons, not only one horizon, is something that is very important. Even for me personally, to be honest, I love the word horizon, not only because I'm lucky to work for the radio channel of National Public Radio named exactly Horizon, but I admire, I'm passionate about the plural in this expression, horizons. The idea that there are different horizons, like in the ever-changing sea, horizon and the skyline also change. Because we live in a time that puts professional journalism at risk from changing business models for the existence of the media, the pressure that comes from social media for juicy and sensational content, this leads to acceleration of emotions, this leads to strong passions and engagement of audiences, which is not bad, but is also risky, because there is a high risk of disinformation and increased informational noise. This is also a test for countries with established high professional criteria in the field of media, but it is even a bigger challenge for countries like Bulgaria, where there are serious problems, as we all know, with editorial independence in the media environment. On behalf of AJ Bulgaria, I would like to thank the World Press Institute for the opportunity to partner with such well-known organization, to thank especially to Boriana Jambazova, a member of the board of Association of European Journalists Bulgaria, for doing all the organizational work for this event on our part. And especially to thank the America for Bulgaria Foundation for continuous support to Bulgarian independent media and for organization of this face-to-face meeting we were so long waiting for. This opportunity to meet and to talk in person, I think, is something that we already know. It's very precious. Of course, observing all the measures. The unprecedented global change that COVID gives us is a special opportunity to think about the ethical dimensions that are extremely important for professional journalism. Even with the challenge itself, how we understand the personal responsibility of journalists. By the way, a reporter asked me if it was not discrimination to require access with certificates when vaccination is voluntary and if it does not restrict human rights. I answered him, no, it is not. Not only because our event is perfectly accessible online, but mostly because it is morally responsible behavior when it comes to working with people and potentially spreading a disease that has such a high social cost. We live in a time when every action or gesture becomes a message, and just as part of the communication of information and messages, we as media representatives must daily, every minute, solve ethical dilemmas. Good luck at the conference. There are so many things to be learned and discussed with the excellent speakers during the conference, and welcome to Bulgaria, to all our international guests. Thank you.
Thank you. As previously stated, my name is David McDonald. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. I'm the executive director of the World Press Institute. We're very excited to be here, and as Nancy Schiller pointed out, this has been a sort of a long effort. We were ready to go in March of 2020, and in middle of March of 2020, as many of you know, COVID hit, so this was long delayed, but we're very happy to finally now be having this conference. And this is part of a 3-year effort with the support of the America for Bulgaria Foundation. So you're going to be seeing us again in the next couple of years, and hopefully we'll be doing a couple more of these on related topics. As I said, we couldn't have done this without the financial and actually the planning support of the America for Bulgaria Foundation. I particularly like to thank Nancy Schiller, Lenko Lenkov, and Diana Trifonova, who have really helped and supported us and pushed us to do this conference. So thank you very much. And of course, I also want to give my thanks to the Association of European Journalists. They really did a lot of the hard work. And Boria Jamboza, I'm terrible at pronunciations. I got sort of close, but she said that would be all right. And her team have been fantastic. You know, both back in 2019 and 2020 and this year. So I really want to thank Boriana and all the Association of European Journalists team. Just quickly before we start, the World Press Institute is a U.S. nonprofit education organization. We've been around since the early 1960s, and our sort of signature program is a U.S. fellowship program where we bring each year 10 journalists in the United States to see the good and the bad of the U.S. and to see journalism as it's practiced in the United States. There's a number of alumni here in the audience that have been on that program, and again, thanks to the America for Bulgaria Foundation, we've had a regular presence by Bulgarians in the last 6 or 7 years. But we also had to postpone that program because of COVID. We usually were doing that in the fall, and so we've actually now missed 2 falls, but we're resuming again with our next program, which will be the 57th annual program in March of 2022. And we had gone through the selection, or mostly through the selection process, so we're down to a group of finalists for that fellowship program, but we intend to keep going, so any of you journalists out there that might be interested, please check out and think about applying for our program for March of 2023. And just to say, you know, the sort of motivating mission of WPI is to support fair and free and independent journalism. We're all into transparency, and we think that's very important, and we think journalists play a key role in doing that and holding government and powerful economic institutions to account. So that's sort of the basis of our organization. We have 600 alumni from 100 different countries over this almost 60-year period.